welcome to the latest edition of the Campaign Doctor. So France is in political turmoil, and the other day a journalist called me and asked me, why has French politics become so unstable? Well, the short answer is because French President Emmanuel Macron in June last year dissolved parliament after the European elections and called for an early snap election, and he lost his slim majority that he had in parliament. Was really shooting himself in the foot, and ever since then we have this instability in French politics. Now let me give you the more detailed answer and the context, because you may not know this, but a long time ago I studied in Aix-en-Provence in southern France, and among other topics I had classes in constitutional law, administrative law, and history of the Fourth Republic. So here's the context. People often think of the French political system as a classic presidential system with a strong president who is calling the shots. And it's probably how it was intended to be, and it for a long time actually functioned that way. But it's not really true. It's true for as long as that the president and the majority in parliament are of the same political family and political camp. Then the prime minister is really the president's man. In rare occasions in France, the president's woman, but the president is really the one who's calling the shots. Now, if the president and the majority in parliament are of different political camps, political families, the dynamics of the French political system change, and power is shifting from the president to the majority in parliament, and the prime minister then sort of becomes the man of the majority in parliament. Now, the president still has more power than a purely ceremonial president in other systems, notably with respect to foreign policy and the defense, where the constitution clearly gives power to the president, but the dynamics change, and France has known that several times in recent history. There was a socialist president, François Mitterrand, who had to govern with a prime minister from the right, first Jacques Chirac and then later Edouard Balladur. Or the opposite has happened, that there was a president from the right, Jacques Chirac, who had to govern with a prime minister from the left, Lionel Jospin. The French call this cohabitation, cohabitation, or actually coexistence. So this is nothing new, but the problem that we have nowadays in France is different. There is no majority in parliament. So it's not that Macron has to govern with somebody that is not of his color. The problem is there is no majority in parliament. There are three, or if you want, four political camps. None of them has a clear majority. In fact, after the early elections that I mentioned at the beginning, after the snap elections, the left, the socialists, the far left and the green together had a plurality of the votes, but not a majority. And ever since the results came in, what Macron is trying to prevent is a government from the left. So what he's trying to do is to form a coalition between the center right, and then peeling off just a few socialist votes that would together give a majority. Now Barnier has tried, François Bayrou has tried, now Le Cornu is trying, but the margins are just really tight. I mean, if the Prime Minister gives the left what they want, not to overthrow the government, which is taxing the rich and suspending the pension reform, he's losing votes on the right. And if he's giving the right what they want, he loses the few socialist votes he has to peel off from the left. So the margins are just really, really tight. Now, if I were to advise Macron, I would advise a government of national consensus, an all-party government, as we have in Switzerland. Or an option of this would be a technocrat government, where each party can send an expert or technocrat that is sort of close to them, but not really a partisan man. That has happened in Italy at times when the parties could not agree on a government. Now, I doubt it will happen though in France, because this would really be new uncharted territory in France. So I think that the most likely scenario is that sooner or later the French will have to go to the polls again, and will have to call for another snap election to render a verdict here. Ironically, France is back now to where it used to be at the end of the Fourth Republic, when parties were always negotiating and the power was really with the parties. And it's sort of ironic that when the Fifth Republic was, the constitution of the Fifth Republic was made, it was really to put an end to this chaos in Parliament. And it seems that now we're back to where we were before. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.